Ladies and gentlemen, forget the picks. Joining us now, fresh out of practice, had no idea that was the case. Buffalo Bills superstar, incredibly handsome quarterback, playing the Indianapolis Colts this weekend in the Loud House. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh!
How are you, Josh?
What a beautiful intro. Thank you.
I didn't know you were sitting there. I don't know how long you were sitting there, but I want to let you know, thank you for joining us. I know it's a work week, and we requested this late, so you making time, we're legitimately grateful for it. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's only been here for 30 minutes. We're good.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Let's keep him for another 45, 50 minutes, boys. Let's go ahead and continue to distract them. Big one against Colts this weekend. What have you been doing to prepare for the noise that the Loud House is going to be at Lucas Oil Stadium?
Yeah, obviously practicing my silent cadence with the boys.
Smart.
We know it's going to be loud. You know, got our hand signals and our eye contact signals ready to go. So we've been practicing, so hopefully we'll be ready.
That's a smart idea, Josh. That's a smart idea. I like what you're doing. We're going to be loud. We're going to be ready for you. We're excited to watch you play football. I think your story is one that a lot of Colts fans are actually looking at because we have a young stud quarterback in Anthony Richardson who maybe didn't have his greatest start whenever it comes to throwing, and then there was the tap-out situation, but he's very young. And there isn't, a give up on him, but there's a lot of conversation about can he become a great quarterback in this league. A lot of people compare how you started and where you are now to his story and what he could become with how big and athletic he is. For you, I'd like to say, this year you're having your best year, by the way. Congratulations.
Hell yeah.
By far. It's like, what is the differences that are being made in the offseason? Is it more reps? What has it been for you think, that has made you take the biggest steps each year?
Yeah, for me, I think it's just the rep count. I think if you go back to my college reps and even high school reps of just throwing the football and feeling and understanding the control of the football. I think as I've gotten older and in the offseason, I've thrown more. I've figured out really, how to drive it, how to layer it, how to launch it. And it's still something I'm working on each and every offseason, but the more reps that you get, in the NFL especially, things are going to start to slow down. And, I'm a big fan of AR. I think, honestly, that throw early in the season that he had to, I think it was Pierce, I think that's one of the best throws I've ever seen in my entire life of any level. I think that throw showcases a lot of his ability and potential, and hopefully he can learn and grow from the situation.
Amen. He's got Joe Flacco there. We heard you talk about Joe Flacco. There is an opportunity to, watch one of the guys who's won a Super Bowl. I think you even mentioned. How would you handle that if you were in that situation, looking back, just hindsight?
Well, I think going back to my rookie year, bringing in a guy like Derek Anderson, who didn't win a Super Bowl, but Derek's my guy. Got to learn a lot from him, the way that he handled the little things, right? Just how to handle walkthrough, how to handle meetings, how to talk to certain guys in the building. And then when he went out and practiced, he practiced hard and he demanded a lot from the receivers and tight ends. So again, just being able to learn and grow from under somebody that knew what they were doing. They were in the league for a long time, and hopefully that he can take a lot of things away from Joe.
Hell yeah. Go ahead, AJ.
Josh, we talked to Kirk Cousins yesterday, and he told us how it's kind of a collaborative effort with his whole quarterback room. All the quarterbacks there, he leans on them. They're always talking every single day and during game day as well. What's your quarterback room like, and is that something that's kind of grown and you've realized how important that kind of room can be for you as the starter?
Yeah, it's super important. I think having Mitch Trubisky as the backup, bringing in a guy like Mike White, who's got a lot of reps in the NFL, and then Shane Buechele, who maybe doesn't have a lot of reps, but he's one of the smartest guys I've ever been around football-wise. He knows what he's talking about. And again, the conversations that we have leading up throughout the week to game day are all focused around football. But again, to be in a room that you feel comfortable with, that you can joke around with, and keep it light, as the starting quarterback, you kind of have to be the lead in terms of the vibes in that room, and they match my vibes pretty well.
Do you think not just that room, the whole building, though, is the quarterback? And when did you realize that?
Say it again?
That your vibes, you very much matter to the entire building. In the NFL,
yeah.
The quarterback matters a lot. What you said, your vibes in that room obviously matter, but in the entire building, right? And when did you realize that?
I feel like I realized that pretty early on. The way that I come into the building and how I communicate with teammates, the positivity that I have each and every day, I think that guys see that and they want to be around that. And I take a lot of pride when guys leave to other teams for maybe a better contract or whatever the case is, and then they come back and they want to be back here in this building. And I take a lot of pride that our locker room is so tight and that we have a family-like atmosphere. And I know that doesn't go for granted. I don't take that for granted.
Maybe if Bean could figure out the money, you know,
this guy.
people would have to leave. I'm joking. But with your team and how great you guys have been, there's different iterations of the squad. You know, people get let go that are household names that we know. Now you have to have a new team. How do you feel about this particular culture versus maybe some teams of the past? Because we've heard nothing but rave reviews of the culture, the locker room, hangout, cards, going to dinner together, I think you hosted a Halloween party. It's like, how do you feel about this team versus maybe some of the teams of the past for the Bills?
I mean, I think it's very similar. You know, I try to approach each and every year the same way and just try to be myself and, you know, include others to tell them to be themselves, right? Like, we're not trying to be anything that we're not. Coach McDermott does a good job of that, of just preaching, be you with us, and let your personality show. And we got a lot of good personalities on this team. But I think the most important thing is guys that care about their job, care about football, and care about winning. And I think when you have those types of guys in your locker room, good things are going to come from it.
Connor has a question for you about all of that.
Yeah, Josh, earlier in the year, you were voted the NFL's biggest trash talker by your peers. Now, I'm not sure if you took that as like, oh, I'm the biggest son of a bitch, so that's why they voted me number one. Or by size, or you actually do the most of it. Is that something that you're very aware of? And this year, did you decide to step it up a little? Maybe like, hey, if they think I'm the biggest now, wait till they see what I do in the 2024 season.
Yeah, I think actually I've toned it down quite a bit.
Whoa.
I think early on in my career I relied heavily on that, and I think maybe the mantra is still there, and it just carries some weight from earlier in my career. But you see clips, you know, and it's every once in a while I'll pull something out of the rabbit's hat or the magician's hat, you know. And but if you go to the clip of me and Simmons after that Tennessee Titans game, you know, we walked up to each other, gave each other a dap and a hug, and just said, I love you talking that crap to me, and I love giving it back. So it's all in good fun. And when we're on the football field, obviously, you know, tensions get flared up a little bit. And but after the game, you know, we're all one fraternity here in the NFL.
No, agreed. Okay, we agree on that.
For Kyle Van Noy.
For that. And you did a. I don't know who the fuck you are to a guy. I think it was the Dolphins. I think it was
David Long.
Yeah.
David Long.
What are you doing, Josh? Leave him alone.
That was immediately after the biggest trash talker thing came out. I think the vote came out, and then that game was on prime time. And this kid ran out of bounds, maybe, and then he was saying something to you, and you like very clearly just did like a look for the last name and then back and then jogged away, and it was like, oh, this guy is talking shit all the time.
But I didn't say anything. So I wasn't trash talking.
Okay.
So
it was worse.
The talking down.
You were trash body languaging the shit out of this guy. Yeah. Okay, so that's levels of it.
Yeah,
that's why you get the biggest trash talker title. That's awesome. I respect that too. Out of Wyoming.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine what you were saying to those kids in college.
Go Pokes, baby.
What's that?
Go Pokes.
Always been a shit talker?
Yeah, I think so. As long as I can remember.
God, I love it. Don't be doing any shit talking this weekend, okay? not in the loud house, Josh. All right, in the loud house.
Listen, I like a nice, clean game, though. I don't initiate it. I'm the one that kind of like, I'll retaliate. I don't ever initiate it, though.
You don't start it, but if you're going to open the door, I will certainly come in.
Yes, absolutely.
That's how I used to feel on like Twitter.
Sure.
You know, like I'm not going to start anything, but if you start talking shit to me, I am going to come back. Now you can't do it because then you're activating followers to bury people, and then you find out how good people on the internet are talking shit.
And they are.
And all of a sudden an account is deleted, and now you feel bad.
Yeah, sure.
They know your address and where you were last week, and I'm just messing.
That sounds like that's very true, though. Yeah, you know that life now, too, even more so in the public eye. Ty has a question for you, Josh.
Josh, Pat mentioned how you're playing the best ball of your career right now, and you've been an elite guy in the NFL for several years now. But in a couple of like the last few years, the media has always said, like, hey, while he's going to play unbelievable, the turnovers are still kind of an issue. And then we talked to Brandon Beane, and he basically said, like, hey, listen, we want Josh to beat Josh. Like, we want him to play exactly how he does. But your turnovers have gone way down this year. Has there been anything like consciously that you've done to maybe be a little bit more careful with the ball, or is that just you kind of maturing and understanding the offense more?
Yeah, maturing and understanding the offense is number one. Making a conscious effort not to not throw interceptions, but to make good decisions with the football and where I'm throwing it. And honestly, like I've thrown a couple and they've just dropped them. So I understand that piece too. That sometimes it goes your way, and it's gone our way a couple times.
Are we still thinking about running people over when we have to? That whole thing, are we getting too old now? We getting too old?
Depending on the week. I think body feels good enough to do it this week, if need be. If need be.
No, take the week off from any physical stuff. Take the week off. Talking about physical, your head coach, I feel, is a guy who would win in a fight if there was a head coach battle royal. Chuck Pagano has a question for you.
Hey, Josh, we talk all the time about the relationship, how important the relationship is between the head coach and the quarterback. I'm assuming yours is really good with Coach McDermott, just considering all the success that you two have had. What is that relationship like? And I remember trying to do my due diligence, watching the opponent defense, and then going in the quarterback room and trying to pry my way in there and try to give my little tidbits here on third down or red area. So what's that relationship like, and do you actually spend time with Coach McDermott talking about the opponent defense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's more big picture stuff of what we're expecting them to do. Obviously, situations arising in games, and he does such a good job of bringing up clips and showing stuff from around the league. I think that's one of the best things that he does, and he explains it very well to our team. But meeting him, before days on Wednesdays, and just making sure that we're on the same page in terms of the messaging that we're sending throughout the team. But yeah, I got a lot of love for Coach McDermott. Obviously, he's been here the entire time that I've been here. We've had a lot of success, and we're just trying to get over that hump.
Let's talk about some of your weapons that you've been utilizing this year. Shakir's a guy, huh? That's a guy.
Yeah. He's the best.
You knew he was going to be, I assume, you guys had success last year, but did you understand what he could potentially be for the offense coming into this year?
I did. I think if you go back to last year, started utilizing him more in the second half of the season. On top of that, he's a Mountain West guy, so that's a plus. But he works his tail off. He does all the little things the right way. If you watch him when he doesn't get the ball, he's always one of the first ones following it. He's always one of the ones helping somebody up off the ground. And he's a football player above all else, and that's what we love about him.
Go ahead, AJ.
We've heard players talk about, especially quarterbacks. We know D-Hop now with Patrick Mahomes. He steps in, boom, he already makes an impact. And they talk about Mahomes is saying he can read the body language of these receivers, makes it easier on quarterbacks. What is that? Can you explain what that might be? And you obviously spread the ball around. Your team's dealing with some guys banged up. Some of your weapons, you can get it to anybody. What is that? What does it feel like when you know you're very confident in what your receiver's going to run? He's not going to hang you out to dry.
Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful feeling, and again, sometimes it takes longer for you to get on page with certain guys. Sometimes it clicks right away, and typically when you get veterans like a D-Hop or like an Amari Cooper here, you don't need as much time because they understand the ins and outs of the game and their position, and they've worked so hard at it. So, when Hop came here, obviously week one got the touchdown. I think 4 for 60 is what he went, and that was on 3 days of practice. And we're hoping to get him back here sometime soon, and maybe it's this week. But when you're on the same page as your weapons, you don't really need to see where they're at. You can trust where they're going to be, and it's a good feeling.
You should be a good friend of Maury and say, another week, you should be a good friend to him, Got to earn up his trust. Say, you should be 110%.
Rest up.
Before you come back.
We got the bye week in 2 weeks, so he can go out there now and get another rest week later. So.
Oh, okay. All right, we don't need common sense coming into this entire thing. How about Big Ball Bass, brother? How about Big Ball Bass? 61-yarder to win that thing. What a moment. He's going to remember that, obviously, forever, as are you guys. I know he missed an extra point earlier. I think early in the season there was a miss to an incredibly windy day. So in the kicking world, obviously, it can get loud and everything. Can you talk about this? And does he do this routinely in practice? Is this a normal thing for Big Ball Bass?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big leg, that's for sure. I got emotional after the game when that happened. I'm not going to lie. He's been battling, obviously, this season and in his own head and everybody, all the outside noise, but just making sure we're going up to him as a team and just saying, hey, we love you, we trust you. And to go out there and I think it's the longest in Bill's history, 61 yards. Listen, and Buffalo's a tough place to kick. It's a tough place to throw. You bring in that wind, you bring in the weather. You understand that, right? There's different elements that we have to deal with here than anywhere else. And I'm just so proud of him because, again, the weeks leading up to it obviously weren't very easy for him, and you see him after the game get the game ball. But what a stud T-Bass is, man. We love him here.
Yeah, we've seen him like grow in front of our eyes, feel like, since he got out of college and became your guys' kicker. A lot of primetime games, a lot of big games. We've watched him a lot. I didn't even think about, and I should have immediately done that, the outside noise. Obviously, what's the inside noise? Every kicker, every punter, let alone golfer, pitchers, you name it. In quarterbacks, I assume it happens as well. You had a 61-yarder walk-off, though? Whew. I mean, that's that's a freeing feeling, I assume, for Big Ball Bass.
Yeah, and that, like you said, like that. Sometimes it just takes one.
Got a baby, Tyler.
Gonna do it again this weekend.
Proud of you, Tyler. Now, before
indoors.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
indoors in the Loud House, he might make a 75-yard.
Break the record.
They weren't able to open a roof last time because there was a mechanical error.
Sure. Okay,
so they did have the window open. Get ready for this breeze that's coming in through that window, Josh. You better be praying it's not good weather. If it's good weather, they're opening that top off, taking the window down. We're talking like this in there, Josh, and it's loud. Oh, my. Good luck sleeping.
Sure.
Good luck sleeping.
Sure.
Good luck sleeping. Before that kick, a big play obviously happened with somebody you guys know well. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Josh, I don't know if you want to put this to bed. The internet was saying that, if you guys needed to play, Poyer before the game told you he would put his helmet underneath someone's chin for a big penalty. Is that true?
What's that? That is what happened?
That a yes?
There's no truth behind that. I love Poe, but
he's double agent.
No, he's not a double agent. He's just trying to make a play for his team, and unfortunately for them, it went our way.
Yeah, Gump.
Very unfortunate.
Gumpy's a Dolphins fan. He doesn't believe it. He thinks there's a chance there's a little bit of cooking in the kitchen happening, and that's just, whenever you have those types of things happen, though, you got to feel as if the football gods are on your side. How do you guys feel about this season? We feel great about this team. Obviously, everything's in front of us.
Yeah, I mean, sitting here at 7-2.
Well, a big one.
Feel good about that, obviously. We understand what's going on around the league, but we're just trying to focus on what we can control, and that's Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts.
How was that Halloween party? Was it sweet? Looked sweet.
It was sweet. It was one of the best ones I think guys will ever be to. It was awesome.
Good for you, man.
Hell
Super
yeah.
celebrity relationship, too. This guy's a fucking stud.
Crushing it.
Talking shit, doing it all. He's got to deal with the Loud House this weekend.
Uh-oh.
All right, safe travels. We appreciate you joining us. Have a great week.
Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen,
have a good one.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh.